So who remembers science class? Who remembers those making those volcanoes, science class, playing with the Bunsen burners and dissecting those frogs and all those things, those experiments that you did in science class? You were just trial and error. We didn't know what the hell we was doing. We was just cutting up frogs and blowing up volcanoes, But that shit was fun. It was fun because the experience of learning through trial and error was amazing. It sparked something in everybody. I love going to science class. I didn't like some of the homework as far as biology and stuff like that, but as far as the experimentation and having fun with just learning from experiments, learning from experience was amazing. It's a shame that we lose that you know that that need for wanting to experiment as we get older. It's a shame that we leave that, because we need that, especially if you're trying to start a business, you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you're trying to be whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in life. You need to replace excuses with experiments so you can gain experience. You don't gain experience by just reading books or just by hearing lectures or watching podcasts. When you want to start something, you got to go out and experience it. You got to go out and experiment. You got to go out and play. You got to go out and figure things out. Try things out. Not be afraid to fail at it. Not be afraid to make mistakes and look crazy in front of everybody. I've done so many things throughout my career, throughout my life, in music, in business, in the corporate world. It's always been about experimenting for me, trying new things, seeing what's going to happen. Because you never know. Those times you take that you think that you don't have your ducks lined up or have all the details, perfect. Those times that you decide you're not going to go forward with an idea that you have, all because you're afraid to experiment, all because you're afraid to test the waters. That's a missed opportunity. And of course, we all want to have everything perfect. That's just, in a perfect world, we want to have everything lined up, everything, money right, employees, product perfect. But if you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to start a hair salon, start by doing your girlfriend's hair at the crib. If you're trying to start a juice company, start juicing at the crib and selling it at work. If you're trying to be a chef or be a cook, make plates on the weekend, take them to work. I got a lot of homies that do stuff like that, but experiment, find out what people like, what they don't like, find out what you like about what you're doing and what you don't like. You don't know those things until you experiment and figure them out. No matter how much you think you can prepare, it's almost starting a business or doing anything that involves you sacrificing your time and sacrificing your energy and your resources. It's like raising the kid, man. You're putting everything into this thing in hopes that it's going to become something greater than you. But you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. And you don't know what's going to happen until you actually start playing and experimenting and being that child you were in science class. That kid that was playing with that Bunsen burner, trying to figure out, what the hell am I doing with this thing? I always experiment, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's drawing, whether it's going to a new country, learning a new culture, experiencing anything. It starts with experimenting. It starts with that playfulness that you used to have when you were in junior high school, going to science class, and just having fun. We gotta get back to the mindset of a child sometimes, and not take for granted that those lessons that we learned were so that when we got older we would know how to apply them. But we get so arrogant as adults, we think that a lot of those lessons were just trivial. But the lesson for me in all of that was to continue to play, continue to experiment, to continue to search, figure things out, to continue to make mistakes, to continue to not be fearful. It's not about being polished. You don't get to polished without being unpolished. So have fun and experiment. And then once you got your 10,000 hours in of play, then go to work. You know, I could do this all day long, but I got to check my blood pressure and have me a beat shot. So y'all have a great day. Peace.